Hey guys, it's May from Revitalize Clinic and I'm here to answer your questions.
Mate, how hard do people have to train to get results?
Well, technically speaking, you don't need to train very hard, okay? If you really hate exercise or if you have an injury that is genuinely debilitating to the point where all you're managing to do is walking, that's still perfectly fine. But what you're going to have to accept is the fact that your diet is going to have to be very strict, very structured, and very limited. You can still achieve great results with just diet, but the exercise is just to strengthen you, burn more calories, and make you more agile and improve your cardiovascular health. But if you don't have any debilitating injuries or you're not coming back out of something horrific where you genuinely cannot exercise, you don't really want to be restricting your diet that much because then, we'll get into that at some point. But basically, you always want to enjoy your food and put more work in through exercise. So if we look at just a regular person who doesn't exercise, doing something once a week will be great, but you're looking at making very little progress, okay? You would have to train incredibly hard for that one day in order to get a lot out of it, right? Then it still goes, okay, training once a week and then really restrictive diet. If you're looking at something like 2 times a week, now you're increasing the amount of movement that you get, which means that your nutrition doesn't have to be so strict. So, the idea is that you want to be exercising at least at a level 7, 7.5. So if we look at RPE, which is your perceived exhaustion, 1 to 10. Now 1 is where you're sitting down having a cup of tea, which means absolutely nothing. 10 means you're about to cough out your own spleen and about to die, which is not where you want to be. So you want to be somewhere slightly off the center. So you want to be at about 6, 6.5, maybe a 7 if you're willing to push yourself that far. So anywhere from where you are out of breath, your heart rate's elevated at about 135 beats per minute at least. Almost everybody has one of these, a Fitbit, a watch that has some sort of a heart rate monitor. They're great because that way you can sort of keep an eye on yourself. But you want to be out of breath, but you don't want to be dying. So whether you're doing cardio or strength training, you always want your heart rate to be slightly elevated and you want to not be able to hold a conversation. That is when you know that you're pushing yourself enough. Depending on how many times a week you want to train, how much time you have, ideally you want to be exercising at least 3 times a week, whether that's in a gym or just at home. That would be the perfect combination. At least 3 times a week, full body workouts, and keeping an eye on your nutrition, and that is going to get you great results.
And do you ever look at your clients who've been training particularly hard, but they might feel particularly sore or tired or they're off form that day? Is it then a smart time to maybe scale back the intensity, or can you a lot of times push through it?
That is quite individual. So I have a very high pain threshold, so I could be in incredible amount of pain, as in tightness wise and muscle soreness, and I would still train. But that is a personal choice. For a regular person, I think it would be very difficult for them to actually give 100% to the workout if they were already sore. So if I had a client who's just done a workout and they're very, very sore and we would come in, we would try to incorporate more bodyweight compound movements just to get them to loosen off, because exercise does a lot of the time actually help muscle soreness because it gets the blood flowing back through the muscle, which means it wakes itself back up. But if somebody was genuinely that sore, we would then flip it upside down and we would do like an upper body day if their legs were really, really tired, or we would just scale back on the weight and the volume and we would just do more sets, less reps, and just working with the client's level of exhaustion. So I would continuously check with them what they're doing, how they're feeling, what's sore, and then go from there.
And if someone wants to speak to you to discuss their training intensity and how they can program their training the right way, how do they get in contact with you?
Contact the clinic either through email, telephone, from our social media, through Facebook or Instagram. Give us a shout, guys. We'll get you booked in for a free consultation, sit down, have a chat, and get you on track from there.